guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about two giants. One is based in the United States, the other one is based in Taiwan. They are both in the same industry, and one of them has actually declared their earnings last week, and I am talking about Intel and TSM. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company is based in Taiwan. Intel declared their earnings this same week, was it on Tuesday or so. He wasn't spectacular, as Intel, we know Intel has been on a slow growth lately, and the stock price plummeted, not as much as we expected, but it was not, it did not perform. Intel revenue was it 19.5 billion. They actually beat the revenue, and they actually beat their estimate for their EPS. The EPS was actually $1.09, beating analysts' estimate by 0.18. Actually, Intel, their data center revenue was actually 7.3 billion, and their client computing, revenue was about, I think, was it 8 billion or something. It was, I mean, it wasn't up to what the analysts, the market expected for Intel. But we know that Intel is coming up with new factory at Ohio, and then there are other stuff that are coming up on Intel. And lately, the American government is actually bringing up a policy to ensure that there's more, the manufacture of chips in large in the US. So the policy is still under the lawmakers to amortize and come up with a standard framework for that. As I said before, I have a big Intel occupies a larger position in my own personal portfolio. In Elite Pro funds, we have Intel in all our funds. So I am bullish on Intel. I've used this opportunity to add more to my position. I actually added more with the price of 47. So this little down was an opportunity for me to buy the dip. I bought the dip. I added more to my position of Intel. I like Intel. I am bullish on Intel. We're a value investor. I believe Intel is value stock. For TSM, I am looking for opportunity to buy TSM. I have no TSM in my portfolio. In our funds and Elite Pro, there's no TSM there. So I'm looking forward to their earnings. But I also want to look at this correction so far to see where TSM has been. The last time I checked, it was around 125. It came down from 140 or so, 145. But I believe that TSM ran up fast the last couple of months. So I would be looking at TSM to be, maybe we should go to the chart. Let's go on the chart so I can see where the position I would love to get TSM. We also look at their finances, their balance sheet, and on Yahoo Finance. Guys, we are looking at TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. We are looking at a weekly chart. Guys, this is what you like for what you should hope to see for your stock. See this outstanding move. Look at it. Wicked. That is perfect. Then look at this. Consolidated here for a while. It's still consolidating there. There's a resistance here, I would say. Oh, I love this chart. Now, this is definitely on an uptrend. It's an uptrend. The price is actually 117. The high is 145, and I think it was some days ago. Also, maybe last week or so. Yeah, it was recently. Let's look at daily chart for this stock. I actually want to get this stock. If you know this company, you would wish to actually have one or two things to do with them. This company is actually center of chip manufacturing is in Taiwan, and for the China American politics, the geopolitical whatever with Taiwan, this stock is actually one of the reasons why um, Biden administration is actually um, you know trying to do come up with some policies. What you can see here, there's a little resistance here that became support. Now, this on a daily chart, this is what we can see. The stock is actually trading below 200 moving day average, like every other stock that's falling under the correction. Apart from that, um, the before now, the trade was consolidating. You can see it was this, between here and there, it was consolidating, and suddenly it, it went up as high as 146 and dropped down back here. I would want to get this stock, but I will be looking at getting this stock at the price of, let me go back to the weekly chart to be able to see where I would like to get the price. Wow. To be honest with you, um, I'm not sure if this stock can, come back to around 95 or so. I'm not sure there's a if this um, support is broken, it's all the way down, guys. Except it's going to hold around 67 here, which is where the 200 moving average is on a weekly. Guys, this stock, whoever owns this stock, if you haven't reduced your, I mean, resize your position after this run up, uh, there's nothing wrong if you take some profit, because if this support is broken and it comes all the way down, there's something that you guys should look at. This stock is similar to AMD and Micron. Let's look at AMD. This is AMD. Let's look at AMD on a daily chart. On a daily chart for AMD, you see what I'm talking about? It went all the way up and down. And let's see Micron too. See, similar to Micron, or it ran all the way up and down. They're in the same industry anyway, so it's the same thing that's happening to all of them. They're all under the correction, and there's still scarcity of chip in the market. They're taking each other businesses. Um, Nvidia, I'm sure Nvidia chart will look um, almost the same, but we're not covering Nvidia on this episode, so let's leave that out of it. But the chip makers have actually had a good run up last year, from 2 years ago, from 2020 lockdown. There's still scarcity of chips. Um, Tesla mentioned that, Apple mentioned that, Microsoft did the same. You know, all these guys, they all rely on chips one way or the other, all our gadgets. Anyway, this is all for TSM. Let's look at their financials on Yahoo Finance. I think I already opened this down. We can see that TSM has a market cap of 609 billion. The PE ratio is 28. They're not okay. They are paying dividend. Yeah, they are paying dividend. So let's see um, their financials. It's a huge company. You need to understand that it's a huge. They manufacture it for a lot of uh, companies. They are actually huge. Look at their finances. Okay, 2018, but it's a slow growth for them too. Just like similar to Intel. Let's look at. I mean, you can go through this on your own on your finance. I mean, I have just want to just go through it briefly for the purpose of explanation. You can see this is 2 billion, 2.2, 2.7. It's a slow growth. Their liability, 924, is a huge company. So let's look at total their free cash flow. Their free cash flow 290. This company, I think they might be doing um, tonight. Well, actually expect them to be higher than this, but for what they do, yeah, you can go through this on your own time and do your own valuation and all that. As I often say, please do not buy stocks because somebody on YouTube said you should buy, or somebody on YouTube make some analysis. It is just to guide you, to educate you. You make your own decisions, see whether the stock is good for your own um, portfolio or not. Do not just buy. Anyway, we are looking at Intel daily chart. Um, this is not surprising. Their earning wasn't that outstanding. It's a slow growth for Intel. However, this chart, there's a lot of message on this chart. Let's start with this. Let me start drawing a support here. Intel has there is support here around here for Intel. Intel has been here a couple of times. In fact, let me um, let me also draw a resistance here that was broken to be a support. Also, here there's also another layer here. It was broken, just like the AMD and Micron and all that. They're in the same industry anyway. Now, this is another level here that was also broken, and this is a resistance here. Yeah. So let's start with this. I can tell you that Intel has dropped from the high, and the recent high is 60, 67. We can only be able to do that from weekly chart. So let's go on a weekly chart. On a weekly chart, yeah, on a weekly chart, you can see that from 67 here, Intel has dropped roughly about 30%. 30% for a stock that is not growing fast to drop 30%. That is significant. Intel has underperformed, to be honest with you. Let's go back to daily chart. On a daily chart, you can see all these levels were broken down here. What I am seeing here, this looks like an armor. So, and it could be, a signal that we are going back. You know, for price action, guys, this looks like an armor or morning star. But then, if you look at this is 200-day moving average. This is 20-day moving average, 50-day moving average. It's on a downward trend. It's on a downward trend. Whether this signals a turnaround, a trend reversal, we will wait till Monday to see. However, these are the functions we can see on the chart. Intel has actually underperformed. But I can tell you, it is one of the biggest positions in my portfolio, definitely, and I love Intel. The reason why I actually have Intel as sometimes you have some stock to hold your money, some large percentage. It's not a fast growing um, uh, company. It's actually a giant that is actually weak now. There's Micron, AMD, Nvidia, all of Apple is making its own chip now. Others are doing the same. So the business has been cut down in a way. But then Intel is still the giant, and they have a new factory coming up in Ohio, and other stocks. And to be honest, it sounds like the Biden government is actually pushing for chips to be mass produced in the US, and Intel will actually benefit from that policy. Um, let's go over to see their financials. I don't want to use Yahoo Finance on this. Let me do this. I think we can see a lot of information on Intel here as well. Bear with me. I would have opened it down if I knew that my network would behave as usual anyway. Otherwise, in the meantime, maybe I should just come over here and use Yahoo Finance. Maybe this will come out faster. I think it's going to be the same also. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at Intel. The price of Intel as of today is 47. Intel actually dropped from, a 55 or so recently. Let's go to the financials. Intel is 194 billion market cap. Income statement 2018, you see 70 billion, 70. Intel is actually a slow growth. Let's go straight to the balance sheet. The balance sheet, we have analyzed Intel some few days ago. You can check on our videos. You would see where we analyze Intel and another stock. Now we are seeing 127, 136. It's growing, but Intel is not a growth stock. It's a value stock. You should know that. Total liability. Okay, I have Yahoo Finance misbehaving. This is all I can say, misbehaving. Otherwise, I'm on Intel financials and I'm getting this nonsense. Okay, let's go back there. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So let's look at the back to the balance sheet. Total liability is 72 billion. Well, Intel is a large company. And let's look at the cash flow. Let's see the free total free cash flow. Free cash flow is 17 billion. As that this statement last year, 2021. Okay, so Intel is a giant, but is the stock price has not performed at all. Here is still loading, so let me just close this. We have seen that already. Let's look at fund flow. Well, in as much as there's buy, there's inflow and there's outflow. There's a large outflow of funds from Intel. Actually, I had a chat with one of those fund managers. In those, I won't mention the company. They told me that they use Intel to hold, funds like cash. They can easily take money from Intel to buy other stocks. So they know Intel really fluctuate between goes beyond 49 to 54. So range. But you can see the funds flow. This is the second level reading on Momo for those who have Momo trading platform. You can check the news. We have seen the chart. We have seen the chart for Intel. We have seen the chart for TSM. Guys, please do your own valuation. Use your own metric to check if these stocks are good for your finances, for your portfolio. For us at Elite Pro, we will be adding more of Intel. We'll be adding more of TSM. We will start with TSM. Do not buy stocks because somebody on YouTube says the stocks is good or is cheap or whatever. Do your own valuation before you go ahead and buy any stock. Thank you for watching this channel. We hope that we have given value to your time. Please like and share, subscribe to our channel. We will continue to give you content that would support your investment journey. Thank you.